Hello and welcome back to the channel this week. We've got a great episode for you. We're going to be talking about the Voigtlander 23 f1.2 Nokton. It's a great little lens. It's nice and small and light. It's a manual focus lens, but it has the electronic contacts to talk with the X series cameras. And so far it's been great. I really like the little lens, but I've had trouble with it from time to time. I can't seem to get the focus right. And I like to use split image. And the problem with it is from time to time, it just goes right to microprism instead of using split image, or maybe it's I just can't see it well enough. I can't really tell. But either way, it works best when there's a lot of light around. When it's nice and bright out, it works great because you can see everything perfectly. I love the 1.2 aperture because it's just so bright when you look through the viewfinder. But let's get on and look to some of the images that I created, and we're going to go through Lightroom a little bit because I did some testing close up. And the other thing is this thing focuses down to 7 inches, which is pretty cool. And that's what I want in a wide angle lens like this. I want it to close focus. I'm so used to Leica lenses that don't close focus. My 35 f2 Summicron, 2 feet is as close as I can get, which unfortunately, that's not great. So let's go through some of my images that I created in Lightroom, and then we'll look at some of the images that I liked coming out of that. And I did get some images that I liked. Let's go look at the images now. So here we are in Lightroom, and I photographed a little, figurine of a Santa Claus here at various apertures. And I think 1.2, 1.4, f2, f4, 5, 6, 8, something like that. Anyway, I covered a range here, and you're going to see how the background changes, but I was really interested in seeing how the out of focus areas looked close up, because this is fairly close up. So let's look at this image first. This is at f1.2, and you can see that around here, around the outside of his hat and beard and stuff, the out of focus areas, you got a lot of haloing going on. That happens with a lot of lenses, but this one, it's not really that bad. So let's look at 1.4. This is 1.4, and as you can see, the haloing is a lot less, and it's a lot more pleasing. So 1.4 is pretty nice, and you can see the background is really nice. It's very nicely rendered. I didn't mind it at all, and the highlight areas, they look pretty good. They're not too football-y. Okay, so here we're going a little bit better. This is at f2, and you can see that our depth of field is really nice. Now, you might say, well, why don't you just use the Fuji 23 f2? Well, yeah, I probably would, and it would look just as good as this. But, the experience of manually focusing this lens as opposed to the 23 f2 Fuji, I don't know, this is a little bit different, but I guess maybe not different at all. But you can see that the background's very pleasing. It's really nice. Okay, so this is at f4, and you can see more of the subject is in focus, and it's beautiful. Beautiful rendering. I love it. I love the way the background looks. The background is nicely out of focus. It's not horrible. It's not too jumbled. It looks nice. It's nice out of focus. Now this one here, I think I just went straight to f8 and skipped 5, 6, and I just wanted to see how the background looked, and everything is beautifully in focus. So as you can see, this lens is not that bad on fairly close up, because this is pretty close up for at 7 inches. It's not 7 inches. It's a little bit further away than that. But I really liked it. I really liked the way I did this test. It was kind of an interesting way of photographing with this lens. So let's go look at some of the images I went out and about, and I had a little bit more of an issue with some of these images. Some of them look kind of mushy to me, and it's got a lot to do with learning how to focus with this manual focus lens. So let's go look at the other images now. So this is one of the first images I took with this lens, and I'm really impressed with it. I love this shot. Everything worked out great, and it was shot at f8. Beautiful. So this vertical image here, it was made at f8, and I really like the way the depth of field goes all the way through here, and the sky looks beautiful. Now this shot is at 1.2, and I just love the rendering in the out of focus background. I wasn't able to get the knot in the rope in focus, but I don't care. I still love it. Now this image, I believe, is at f5.6 or f8, and I love the fact that I got most of it in focus here, and I really like the rendering of it. So this one here is at f4, and I really love the shadows, but not all of it's in focus, which I was hoping on the handles is a little bit out. Now this one here is shot at 5.6, and I really like the rendering of all of it. I got most everything in focus. I love the shadow, just what I was looking for. Now this shot of the lobster trap with the bittersweet berries on it is great. I love the close focusing of it, and I love the rendering of the out of focus background. Now I did a bunch of experimenting at f4, and I love the way these colors just rendered with this lens, and I love the little bit of out of focus in the background, even though this was further away. Even though this is not a perfect example of a sunburst, I had to shoot one at f16 and see what it looked like. And it's not perfectly lined up, but you can see we got a nice sun star out of it. So this was made at f8. I wanted the leaves in the foreground in focus and the little bush on the granite wall in the background out of focus, and it worked pretty well. Now this is shot at f8, and the colors look a little bit, I don't know, mushy to me. It doesn't really look completely sharp, but it is. It just doesn't look right. So this shot was made at f4. I really like it. It has a photojournalistic feel to it, but it's kind of a setup, you know. You focus on the hand, you can't miss that, and it came out really well. So I thought I'd save this one till last because it took me a while to get the focus right. It was shot at f11, and I was using peaking because I couldn't get the split image to work very well. So I like it, but like I said, it took a while to get. I mean, it's a real close focus image, but it just took a while. Thanks for joining me for my little mini review of the Voigtlander 23mm 1.2. There were some good things about it, some bad things about it, but overall I had a good experience with it. It's nice, light, and small, and it talks to my X-T5. That's the best thing about it. So if you wouldn't mind, please give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That would be great. And check out capeannphototours.com. And remember, it's not what you photograph, it's how you photograph it, and we'll catch you next time.